Hey guys, today I'm going to talk about do I have any regrets opening a retail store during retail apocalypse? And while most retail outlets like Charlotte Russe, Sears, Toys R Us, they are going bankrupt, I decided, hey, I've always wanted to own a retail store. I wonder what that is like. Now, it's been my dream ever since I was little to own a Magic the Gathering store and then an anime store and a Pokemon store. And this was very important to me because some of my fondest memories were playing Magic at a store or playing Pokemon at a store when I was much younger, or buying anime figures at a store. So when Toys R Us went belly up, that made me realize that the timetable I had to do, how much time I had left for a retail store to be viable was actually very, very small. Meaning if I didn't open a store now, it would never happen. Mainly because even though today it is nonsensical to open a retail store, imagine what it would be like 10 years from now. It would be insane, right? So I'm not one of those people who think retail will survive in a physical sense. I obviously am a multi-award winning Google. I won multiple Google awards for pay-per-click, and pay-per-click is the exact opposite of a retail store. I believe one day, very soon, we'll buy cars and we'll buy everything online. We buy computers online. I purchased a computer for my graphic designer from Dell.com and it came in time and everything was fine. We buy the majority of even food from Amazon or local food things where they package it and then you cook it and it takes like 20 minutes to make the meal and it's a good meal. And there's a recipe that comes with it. Like HelloFresh would be a good example. Blue Apron would be a older example. But there's many of these things that send you food and then you make them, you have a good time, and then you eat the food. So am I a big believer of the future where we're eating food online, we're ordering food from online, we are ordering clothing and shoes like Zappos. People didn't think it would work because they were like, oh, who would possibly order shoes online? The answer is everybody. I order my shoes online. The only time I go to a physical store is really just if I'm with people and I don't know what they want. We'll go to Walmart. There's a Walmart right next to us. I'm actually going to Walmart on Monday, tomorrow, which is not a good day to go on because it is the first Monday of the month, which means food stamps. And I will be in line for a very long time, I'm expecting, but we need snacks for the office and we got paid. Oh, we got half paid. So, I mean, we get paid the first half by credit card in the beginning of the month. Then checks come around, let's say the 15th is when all the checks clear. So there's two big celebrations in my company in the beginning of the month when we get the credit cards clear. And then at the midpoint of the month where the checks clear, because the checks have to be mailed and they sometimes come from all over. So, yeah. I realized that this was the one opportunity and it wouldn't be forever. It would just be a moment in time where I could own a Magic the Gathering or a Pokemon anime store in Houston. And if I didn't take that opportunity, there would never be another one. I really do believe that these places, because you're competing. The problem is you open a Pokemon store. You know who else has a Pokemon store? Nintendo. They have PokemonCenter.com. They can ship you something from Japan for the same price I'm trying to sell it to you at a store. Why would you buy from me when you can get it from Nintendo or Pokemon themselves? The answer is you wouldn't. The same with Magic. Right now, Magic the Gathering is basically spiting its local game stores because now they're selling direct. They have a Hasbro Pulse, which will sell direct to consumer Monopoly, My Little Pony, and Magic the Gathering. And that's the way it should be. The motto should be direct to the consumer. That's the Amazon motto. That's Tide, Procter & Gamble. All these very big companies have their own websites, even in addition to Amazon, because Amazon's like an eBay, right? Do you want to sell on eBay? Do you want to cut them in on the profits? Maybe, maybe not. But you should always have your own website. So I wanted to have a retail space to test it out, and then eventually we would go online with our website. I have a very beautiful website. I've had it for multiple years since I was going to do this December 2017. I think the website was up July 2017, and I was going to train an e-commerce specialist, and we were going to sell, and all this great stuff was going to happen for our company, but that didn't work. We ran into some issues. So it was a once in a lifetime. It wasn't something that was smart. And I knew going into it that it's not smart. So a lot of times you guys might question my financial decisions, but I can tell you that I have thought it out more than you have, because I know maybe not the exact amount of money I'm going to bleed, but I know if I can sustain the bleeding, and I know when to cut off. If the arm is bleeding, I know when to cut it off to save the rest of the company and then hopefully regrow an arm. So, do I regret opening a retail company? No. I think it's a great experience, and I've always wanted to have that experience, but I know that it cannot last for a long time. Most local game stores are going bankrupt, and they're actually heavily into debt right now. And I've talked to many store owners. I've joined their Facebook groups. I've met them in person. I can tell you that, just imagine this. Imagine a store that sells board games, and 1 million board games they would have to stock to compete with Amazon. And, oh, do you have so-and-so board game? Oh, you don't. You don't have El Dorado? Oh, you don't? Oh, that's too bad. Let me order on Amazon. Or imagine a customer coming in, seeing it for $59.99, going on Amazon on their phone and realizing that, hey, somebody's on Amazon trying to sell it for $19.99. Am I going to pay $40 more to a store that I don't really know them and I don't really care? I know I'm going to get it shipped to me in 2 days for $40 less. And the worst case scenario is when you have to compete directly against not Wizards of the Coast, that's one, with the people who make the product. So let's say Monopoly, it costs $2 to make Monopoly, and Hasbro can sell it for $5 if they wanted to and still get a huge margin, a huge percentage of profit. Well, if you're in your store and you're selling Pokemon Monopoly for $40, and somebody can buy online direct from the actual store who makes it for $5, then you might question, why is it $40 in your store? It's because Hasbro is selling it to you for $20, and now you have to ship it, you have to have fees, you have to hire an employee to manage and give people advice on the game. So those costs, those overhead costs never really deteriorate. They're always there for you. But in the e-commerce sense, you don't even need a retail space. You just need a warehouse. You don't need a nice store. You don't need air conditioning for the customers. You don't need a bathroom for the customers. You don't need water. You don't even need electricity for the most part. I'm assuming like the most basic warehouse. You just need to know where the thing is itemized and you can sell in volume. And plus the fact, at a local game store, you're kind of set in this little area. So if you're in a bad area like I am in Humble, and there's no one there coming to your store because the population is, let's say, low density, well, then you're going to suffer a lot. But if you're online, your population is everybody. You can ship to anybody. You can ship to a person in Australia if they're willing to pay for the shipping. And it makes sense logistically speaking, which if you're Hasbro, it does, because you make the product for pennies on the dollar. So your margins are huge. Your margins, like maybe you make Magic cards for, let's say you sell a Magic booster pack for $4, but it actually costs you 2 cents to make. Yeah, you can ship it to Australia. Just buy one of those stamps for like $1, international stamps, and you still make a huge amount of profit. But a store can't do that because I'm not buying a Magic pack for 2 cents. I'm buying it for $2.25, which is not a bad price, but you guys kind of know what I'm talking about. So do I have any regret of opening a store, a physical retail outlet? No, but I don't think I'm going to continue with it. It's just too difficult and the margins are not there. I see the writing on the wall. It has been one of my bucket list items whenever I was a kid. Obviously, I thought that maybe the stores would be around for a little longer, but I realized that they're not. Having run a retail store, there's just too much overhead that there's not enough customers, and there's too little overhead. When you go online, there's infinite amount of customers because you could ship to India, China, whatever. As long as people are going to pay you and the payment goes through, you're good. And there's very little overhead. So the two main problems of a retail store are solved by being an e-commerce business, and I only see e-commerce becoming stronger and stronger, and that's why I wanted to learn it. And so imagine that I'm trying to teach people like how to do sales, so then I take them to a convention. So if I'm trying to teach our illustrator, Emma, to do sales, the best way for me to do that is I can encourage her to make her own product, pay for her to go to anime convention, sit with her and train her how to sell to physical people and actual sales, hands-on sales, and then so she can go to meetings with me now and understand why I say some of the things I say, and then jump in whenever she can add to conversation. So instead of paying for her 4-year college to do sales, I just explored a hobby with her, and that's how now she's my sales sidekick most of the time. And that's how I view the store. For me to understand the online components, I have to understand retail, because a lot of people from retail go online. And a lot of these retail customers that we have that work with us, cufflinks and all types of interesting products, noodles and broth and you name it, they want to sell it in commerce. They have a physical store where you would go to a Nordstrom's or a Macy's to buy these $400 cufflinks. And then you would you would buy them physically. But if they're doing poorly, I have to understand the retail side as much as I understand the e-commerce side. I can't just have a good understanding of the e-commerce side, because the e-commerce side might adversely affect their retail side, which is already tanking, and the transition is very important. So if you ask, why did we start a retail store? Well, the answer is I want to understand the transition most of my clients are going through, because they're going through the same thing. We have a retail store, now we have to go online only. How do we save? How do we save money? What are the overhead costs? What are our margins? Do we have our own website? Do we sell on Amazon? These same questions that our clients have, or the same questions I have to deal with my own retail outlet store. So that's why I'm very good at PPC, is because I suffered the same pains as you do. Like, that's the only way, right? Hi guys.